Hello, my name is Tatyana Webb, and this is Off the Record, brought to you by Nana Music Productions. Today we have Gage Smith in the studio with us. He is a country artist, country rock artist, and the lead singer for Smith Distillery. So welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited that you're on the show. First of all, Gage and I, we go back to college. We were in a band called Populous with Troy University's music industry program, and we've shared the stage a few times. And so to be able to share some time on the air, to be able to talk a little bit about what you've been up to, as well as kind of promote a few things that are coming up, I'm just really happy that we could provide some time to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it, and I mean, anytime we can hang out and talk about music, it's a good time.
I, uh, I would say that too. So, let's talk a little bit about your background, a little bit about how you got into music. I know I mentioned you were at Troy, but how did you get that spark? I guess what led you to music growing up?
Yeah. So my mom was a drum major in high school. She took classical piano and vocals. And I mean, my dad can sing, and my deceased uncle was a nut on the guitar. It's definitely in the genes. And when I was about 12, I wanted to learn how to play guitar. I started taking lessons. Eventually got to the point where I stopped taking lessons because I advanced and wanted to go into lead as opposed to acoustic guitar. Um, Somewhere in there, somebody said you should sing with it, and I was like, okay, we'll try it. So started singing with it. There are a few spots around my hometown here in Georgiana. For those of you who don't know where that's at, it's okay. Most people don't. Um, Hank Williams Sr. is originally from Georgiana, Alabama, so we got a lot of landmarks here for him. And there's a theater downtown where a lot of my music buddies over here they would come together for like a Hank Williams show one time a month. So started all that to say started playing with those folks when I was about 15 years old in this theater. Um, from there was a part of this band and that band, and that led me to college where I started at LBW Community College in the ensemble there. And that's all they call it is just the ensemble, right? So did that, and then went on into Troy University, where Populous, me and Tatyana connected in Populous. So was a part of that for a couple of years, and then after that, Smith Distillery, somewhere in that mix, came into being. So it's been a long road.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned like band and stuff like that, or at least with your mom. And so I was like, in our previous podcast, it seemed like everybody was getting started with marching band or band in some kind of way in middle school, high school. So it was just like, yep, that's about where everyone kind of starts, or they have lessons like how you were, and it just kind of continues rolling that. So yeah, and our time with Populous, that was pretty cool because we got to like do some tours. And I remember there was one time it was you, me, and Jack. We came to Montgomery and we kind of did like a media tour to talk about our upcoming performances at a few of the Montgomery public schools and schools that we were working with. So just to go from that educational incubator for music industry to now we're both in a professional world of like professional music and stuff like that. It's pretty cool to see how we have grown in that, and I'm glad that we haven't lost our spark as we have gotten a little older and a little more professional with things. So
Got to keep
um,
going. I
yeah.
had a guy tell me at a Tuscaloosa radio station not long ago, just keep doing it, right? Keep doing it. You love it. There's no reason to stop.
hmm So you mentioned Smith Distillery. So that is the current band that you're in, and the one that you developed after college. So can you talk a little bit about Smith Distillery and kind of what y'all do and what kind of music y'all like to perform?
Yeah, for sure. So it's not an actual distillery, right? It is a band. That's the first thing I'll say.
Y'all need to start one.
Um, yeah, that was the kind of business model, I guess, whenever we came up with the name. Like maybe if this doesn't take off one day, we can get a distillery going somewhere in Alabama. Um, but anyway, I actually started that kind of concurrently with the tail end of Populous when I was in it. Met some folks over at Troy University. The name started with me and another guy as we created the group. He unfortunately is no longer with us, but we kept the name because we've had some members come and go. And just like the distilling process for alcohol, you got to add, you got to take away some things to make it good. So we chose to stick with the name. Um, we are all from the country, right? Very small towns, and so we like country music. A lot of our influence comes from folks like Brooks and Dunn, um, Tim McGraw, Kenny Chesney, John Party would be like a newer example. Co Wetzel would also be a big influence on us right around the time we got started. But we also like rock music, right? We like some folks like the Foo Fighters and Nickelback, and so there's a blend there. Um, we are on all streaming platforms. We are getting ready to release our seventh original tune. We like to release songs in singles just because for the group, it logistically, financially, everything, it turns out to be like better for us than releasing albums at a time. So we're on all the platforms. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, here in just a little bit. But we've played everywhere from Jacksonville, Mississippi to Key West, Florida, and we plan on continuing to do it because we love it.
Yeah. We had a wedding that we worked on with Smith Distillery last year, and I'm telling you, you had those people rocking. It was amazing to see you in a live setting. Just again, going from Populous to like, actually performing with your band in your element. It was so much fun. I was Nana Music, we were doing like the sound and the and providing the PA system and such for Smith Distillery. So to be working, but to actually be able to experience it too, it was just so much fun. I mean, when I like your voice has just I'm a fangirl when it comes down to that. I guess that's the best way I can say it, because it's so rich and you carry it so well. And then the talent that you have in Smith Distillery is really awesome too. So I'm really excited to hear your next performance. And like how you mentioned, you have a new single coming up. So it's called Choice. So can you talk a little bit about that and what people can expect to hear in that song?
Yeah, so disclaimer for anybody who goes and listens to our tracks, you can tell that there's a little bit of a variety there. Like we have some stuff that is akin to Co Wetzel, towards the start of, I guess, our single collection on the streaming platforms. And then we start to venture a little bit into like older style country music. And then we venture into like some heavy Christian overtone stuff. So we're trying to be, as one of me and Tatyana's former mentors would say, a jack of all trades, right? Master of a few. So um, this next song is it's definitely still country music. I would say it's a little bit more on the pop spectrum, but more or less, like again, the song's called Choice. I wrote the song around a year or so ago when I was just going through a tough time, right? Some things had happened in my life, big change was in the air. And at that point in time, I had to look around at all that the good Lord had given me and told myself, like, hey, you have a lot to be grateful for. Why are you down right now? Like, look around you. The good Lord has blessed you. And so that's essentially what the song is about, right? Choosing to look for the light instead of the dark, right? And be grateful as opposed to, sad and depressed and just, in a victim mentality. So that's what the song's about. We just got the master back yesterday, and we're getting ready to release it soon. We will be putting out a post soon to announce the release date. We're thinking somewhere around Easter. We'll see what happens there. There will be pre-save links put out on our socials as well whenever we get to do so. But we are super excited about it. Anytime we get to record, sometimes we get more excited recording than we do actually playing shows. And so, yeah, we're super excited about it.
And I will say, and piggybacking on that, I think the reason why it's exciting to create a song and go through the recording process is, you do perform, you do gigs, you do, private events, with weddings and stuff like that. And when you're doing that, you're playing covers and you're playing some of your originals. So it's a mix and blend, but to be able to release a new song and to showcase what you've been working on and what you've been kind of hiding inside to be able to showcase that to your listeners and your fan base, it's a really it's just not surreal, but it's just like a really nice feeling to be like, hey guys, this is what I was going through, but also I'm sure you've been going through the same thing, and we're in this together. And here's a song that you can listen to kind of uplift you and make you feel just a little better, and to feel blessed and feel like, you know what, hey, it's all good. I mean, God has blessed my life, and being able to move into that appreciation energy instead of like how you mentioned the victimization energy. You when you said that, it triggered a thing that my mom always would tell me when I was growing up. It's like people sometimes choose to be the victim of their own victimization, and so they will, victimize everything and then feel a victim of what they're feeling a victim of. And it's just it's a energy that, and a spirit that you don't need to have on your life, because if you allow that to sit on you, like, it can limit your opportunities, it can limit your blessings. And so I really am excited to hear this new song of yours, because I think, like how I said, just about everybody has kind of been in that place before. So yeah, it's gonna be really cool, and I'm gonna be wearing my socks and my big T-shirt, and I'm gonna be like, all right, let's listen to the song, and like, let's get out of this funk. So it's gonna be really cool to hear that.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what it's meant for. And just a side note there, everybody is powerfully made, and you have control over like what's up here. So if you ever down in the dumps, you can change that, right? And again, that's kind of what the song's about. So I hope, like you said, it'll help anybody who's kind of going through that, like it did for me, just writing it. And we're super excited to put it out.
I'm only laughing because that, for me, on a personal way, that has become so personal, because I just finished Joyce Meyer's book Battlefield of the Mind. So that mindset and changing, and that choice. A good word picture is not in the book, but one thing that my parents also taught me was, like, think about your mind being like a TV, and you have the remote control. You can change the channel at any time. And so being able to do that. But okay, so I know we've talked about that. Is there anything that you would like to also share with our listeners that can kind of help them with, just advice-wise? This podcast is all about, like, growing your professionalism, and how you can continue to elevate yourself in the music industry. So what would be that word of advice? I know choice and what we talked about, your song, is a really big one. So if you want that to be it, cool. But especially for a new artist that's trying to break into this industry, what would be your advice to them?
Well, like you said a second ago, you can't get down about it. You got to keep going. So that'd be the first thing I'd say. Don't let all the noise of this world like limit your creativity and your goal. Right? That's one of the biggest things. I come from a very traditional family where I constantly have to fight in conversations about how I'm doing this with music and that with music and how it's good enough for me and there. And like, that's what I'm saying. Don't let the noise of the world affect like your work ethic and your goal of what you want to do. Okay. Because you can absolutely do it, right? Like I said a minute ago, you're powerfully made. Um, the first thing that I would say for anybody who's starting out is everybody is going to tell you, like, they're going to ask you questions, and they're going to be kind of critics of you, right? Like, so what I would say there is make sure you have something that folks can listen to, for one, right? Have something on a social media platform, like start taking videos of yourself, like just some way that you can show your credibility. That is the first thing that I'd say to anybody. And then just don't give up, period. Like, you'll have doors slammed in your face. Like, we make this joke at my day job, right? The answer is never no. It's just not right now. Okay. So keep at it, keep trying, and don't let the outside world kind of affect like your drive. And eventually you'll get where you're trying to go.
Yeah. You hit 2 points on there, that um, the noise part. So there was I don't know if it was a TikTok or something like that, but it was talking about how billionaires, they limit the noise that, they allow in their life so that they can stay focused on their goals and on what they are trying to accomplish. And so and the noise could be, anything. So I love how you highlighted that. And then you also mentioned the kind of the perseverance kind of thing. It goes back to a little bit of scripture on that too. I'm not going to quote it because I don't know it directly, but it talks about how like God gives you like the things that God gives you. He doesn't give you anything that you can't handle, and he gives you the strength to be able to endure and persevere through anything that he throws at you. And so to know, like going back to your powerfully made comment, it's like, yeah, you are powerfully made. You are here, and no one's gonna do what you can do like how you do it. So like be original, be consistent, and everything. So I really like how you said that.
Not sure if this is the right verse or not, but the Lord is my rock. I can do all things through him,
Yeah,
and he will uplift me with his righteous right hand. Those are the
there you go.
verses that come to mind. I'm not sure if that's the right one or
There's
not, but
also, I think it's like Jeremiah 29:11 as like the plans I have for you are to like,
I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to uplift you and to nurture you. And I'm getting off a little bit, but that's more or less.
but also say, this podcast, and I've said it, I've almost echoed it too many times now, but there is no shame in my God and my faith of the Lord and everything on this podcast and with my company. And so yeah, so that's nothing that I shy against on on this podcast because people need to hear it too. Am I a preacher? Am I an ordained minister? Whatever? No, but I've lived through some life, and I think I say that most of us, as seasoned professionals in the music industry, we have lived through some life and lived through some experiences, and that's the reason why I find people like you and different professionals valuable on this podcast and on this platform because we really do need to feed back to the industry and give our input and our experiences to them so that way we can continue to nurture this industry that we're in and really try to give them something to hope and to dream in and continue that spark. So but thank you so much for being on the show. How can we stay in touch with you? How can listeners come follow you, see when your next show is, see when you're going to put that pre-save on for your song choice? Like, where can we follow you and find you?
Yeah, good question. So you can easily find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Smith Distillery. All right, all one word, at Smith Distillery. I'm going to let you have my link tree so that you can even find us on the streaming platforms. However, again, it's the same thing. Just Smith Distillery wherever you get your music. But like I said, we're going to drop a link in the description to make it real easy for you guys. And you can find us wherever you get your socials and your music.
Fantastic. That's going to make it so easy. So thank you so much, Gage, for being on the show. I know we will have you again soon. So especially when we're getting ready to drop the your song choice and if any other songs that you drop in the future. So but if you like what you heard today, you can follow the podcast at @NanaMusic_off the record. You can also follow the company at Nana Music Productions, or you can follow me at Webb, WEBB, at Tatyana M. And just remember, this podcast was off the record.